After watching the first 4 episodes of Halo the Series Season 2, I think it is safe to say that it is better than Season 1. It also diverges pretty hard again from the books and the game, so as a TV show, while I think it works, it is definitely going to upset the more hardcore Halo fans who are going to be angrier than ever, which is really saying something. It's a more prestige feeling show that I think will continue to enamor the public at large. But as none of the episodes have actually aired yet, I'm going to keep this review as spoiler-free as possible while trying to convey my feelings on how everything is after these first 4 bombastic episodes. So let's get right into it. Early on, the Chief Tana merge at the end of Season 1 is quickly answered, becoming a core plotline of the season. Chief is essentially back to being himself for the most part, and humanity has continued its war with the Covenant for roughly 6 months. Major plot lines early revolve around what Chief and Silver Team went through, where Dr. Halsey has ended up, and as the marketing has shown repeatedly, that the Covenant is coming for them all. The first episode is not a reboot or reset of the story of Season 1. It is a direct continuation, but with a very different tone. Gone are pretty much any lighthearted or goofy elements, replaced by a dour and mature theme constantly beating home the impending doom of Reach, which again was marketed heavily, and the effects the war has had on everyone. This episode is decently heavy on the combat side of things, with the CGI Spartan movement holding up well in my 1080p and incredibly low bitrate screener. How this translates to 4K, I'm not sure, as the movements look uncanny, but the actions of the Spartans that they can pull off kinda should? I mean, they're superhumans, running faster and jumping further than any of us could ever dream. Side characters feel as one note as ever, and their fates are predictable as the action ensues. Halo Season 2 leans heavily on foreshadowing plot points and mysteries, none of which have been answered by the end of Episode 4. While the side characters feel predictable, the main characters do not. Good or bad, they're given room to grow early on. A standout is the addition of James Ackerson as the head of the ONI. The new boss man is a real piece of shit, as most people in his position would probably be. He's given depth and reasons for why he can be so cold-hearted in a way that feels pretty natural. The same goes for Silver Team as they continue adapting to life without emotion and pain-suppressing pellets. Vanek and Kai get less time than Chief and Riz, but I did find the arcs of all 4 interesting. Fans will be furious about the portrayal of John 117 as anything but a perfect leader. But how boring would the show be if we didn't get to see him evolve into that? I'm sure I'm going to be in the minority, but even as a massive fan of the games and books, I don't think that any type of one-to-one translation would have been that interesting or feasible of a television show. Halo Season 2 feels incredibly expensive so far, and I feel like the changes to the story that were necessitated by keeping that budget as realistic as possible are gonna be obvious to you. Season 1 was a massive success for Paramount, but it's still only a TV show. Having the non-stop action of most of the games or books, including massive space battles, is probably far more in the realms of movies to do often with the type of scale and quality that's on attempt here. And it's difficult to get fully into things without spoilers, so I will have full spoiler episode reviews that go up as each one is available to stream. I think most agree that Quan Ha and Soren's stories were the weakest parts of Season 1. This continues to be the case early on story-wise with Soren and the Rubble. Surprisingly though, after seeing Quan for the first few times, I'm all in. The changes her character has gone through during the time between seasons are night and day. Gone are the whiny entitlement and idiotic actions that felt forced to move the plot along. In their stead, we have someone changed forever by what they've experienced and some of the better non-Spartan action sequences the show has had. Soren's storyline starts weak and then splinters into something a little weak and something kinda strong. The whole pirate situation in the Rubble just feels off. There's no one scary, they just more feel like West Side Story rejects. And I just found myself groaning at their mediocre dialogue and predictable actions. But by the end of my time with the early screeners, what had been boring and predictable plot did feel decently resolved at least. I'm genuinely curious where it goes from here now, and wish the show could have gotten to that point a little more quickly. Also, after 4 episodes, I think the show has nailed a more even pacing and quality overall, including its CGI. As I said before the screener, the quality is really low at a 1080p resolution and like no more than a 5K bitrate. The Covenant ships and sets all looked fantastic, but I have no clue how it's going to hold up at 4K. And that pirate stuff is never as bad as Season 1 could get, and the Chief and Reach storylines really do feel like prestige TV more often than not. There's some groan-inducing dialogue mixed in there though, especially the banter between Silver and Cobalt teams, which isn't the best. So, 4 episodes in and I am fully invested in seeing where things go. The tonal shift and more consistent quality make for something that's very entertaining and quite expensive looking. I do know the hardcore Halo fandom is going to most likely hate the season just as much, if not more than number 1. But Halo's story isn't that same sacred cow for me, and I'm fine with the changes as long as they make for good TV. And I gotta say that so far, I think they have.